Good evening, everyone. Welcome to my flight planning and execution project for the G1000. My name is Ed Rumpleton, and this is my, it'll be sort of an abbreviated flight planning execution project. Um, References for today will be the G1000 guides, the pilot's guide. First things first, a little housekeeping first. This will be a modified version of this. So I have no access to a G1000 aircraft. Unfortunately, my computer, my Mac, does not run any G1000 sim software, and I don't have access to an approved flight simulator. So basically, for lack of a better word, I'm going to have to wing it. So now, if you want a really good rundown on how to flight plan, how to use all the features of the G1000, of course, you can turn to section 5.6 of the pilot's guide. And in there, there's so much you can do with this avionics suite. For instance, flight plan creation, adding waypoints. You can add user waypoints. You can kind of move the cursor over and click on it and make a waypoint wherever you want to make a waypoint. Adding airways, storing, retrieving, editing flight plans. Of course, activating and loading flight plans. And of course, a cool feature is inverting a flight plan. Inverting a flight plan is something that I think my little experience with the G1000s, something that you would use mainly VFR. I know IFR, when you file back, you can get a completely different flight plan, altitudes, you name it. It can be a completely different route. So, but it is a cool feature. So my trip today is, I live in Southern California, so one of my trips I used to love to take when I was getting my instrument rating was from John Wayne Airport in Santa Ana down to Carlsbad Airport. It's a great little flight. It is usually along the or on the coast over the water. But when I loaded this up today in my Garmin Pilot, my phone, it gave me a routing that I hadn't really seen before, which is over more inland. So it's interesting. I've flown this route, I don't know, 40 times. The trip from John Wayne to John Wayne to Carlsbad, and it's always over the water. So this was interesting. I want to look it up and see what it entailed. And a kind of a local tip or local, I guess, kind of gotcha out here is it takes you over this VOR, and the Julian VOR is kind of it's notorious in the area. If there's high winds, it even says it right on the chart. It says caution extreme turbulence, up and down drafts. There have definitely been at least a handful of accidents over this area caused by just, of course, the terrain, the mountains, and the interaction of the wind. So flight planning is always, thinking of all the possible outcomes. And if it was a windy day, I would definitely not take this route. I would take the over the water route. So here's our G1000. The cool thing about the flight plan feature of G1000 is you can put it on either the PFD or the MFD. Like I said, I have some experience with G1000, and I've always found on the ground entering the flight plan on the MFD is easier. You get more. It's a bigger box. It's a bigger screen. Well, more space is allocated, I should say, to the flight plan than on the PFD. And then in the air, of course, it's just easier to use the PFD because it's right in front of you if you want to add or change or load a flight plan. So another thing too is being myself a CFI candidate. I'm trying to get my CFI. Always practice good, safe procedures. Don't try to enter this information while you're taxiing or while you're on the runway or whatever. Just do it while you're parked, park and brake on. Enter all your flight plans. Just please be safe. Do it the right way. So here is the flight plan. Anyone who's ever used a the older Garmins, like the GNS 430, 530, you'll find this very similar as far as how you enter in all of the information. Unfortunately, there's no keypad, so you can't just type in the waypoints and destinations. You have to use the concentric knobs on the bottom, the FMS knobs, outer one, inner one. And just like on the GNC 430, 530, you move it around with the outer knob, and then you can change the letter or number with the one on the inner knob. So works exactly the same way. Cool thing about the G1000, and I'm every probably avionics suite sense, is you can enter a flight plan on like your Garmin Pilot on your navigation app, and if you have FlightStream, I think it's 210 or 510 in your system, you can automatically just basically Bluetooth or stream it to your G1000. So you can make a whole flight plan at home in the comfort of your house, and then bring it to the airport and just load it into your G1000, and it saves you from having to sit there with the engine running or whatever, or the avionics on and running it. So it's a really cool feature of the avionics suite. I've never used it. I've never been in a G1000 that had that flight stream, but it is pretty cool. I searched around, and I found the blurriest picture. This one's pretty blurry. I apologize, but this is basically what the flight plan box would look like on the PFD. So like I said, it's a little bit smaller. Works the same way. Same with the FMS knobs. You can control it, select it. So just want to give you a shot of that. Here's just some screenshots or some pictures of some of the different menus. As far as this is your flight plans that you can store. You can store 99 flight plans. So unless maybe a flight school airplane would have maybe a lot of flight plans, but personal use airplane, I wouldn't see using all your space. So it's got a lot of space for your flight plans. Here's just more boxes. Like I said, it's a very very robust suite, and you can do a lot with these. There's a lot. I mean, you could have a 3-hour video on how to use all this stuff, but these are just basic features. It's, of course, like most GPSs, it has a nearest feature. You can do nearest VOR, nearest airport, nearest fix, waypoint, whatever. So it's really, really handy for diversions or change your mind in flight or an emergency, to find the nearest whatever to put it on your screen. Like I said, I've flown this route a lot of times. Here is a picture of me flying in a definitely non-G1000 airplane. This airplane has ADF and a DME and VOR ILS. So it's old school, but it's a great little plane. It's a Piper Archer. I think I have like 400 hours on that plane, so it's a great plane. Here's going the other way. This is coming back. You can see most of the time it's over the water. This is the over the water route, not the inland route. That's kind of my whole presentation. I got a couple pictures, fun pictures, just for fun. This is me flying an Extra 300. My boss has one and helped me out by getting my spin training in it. So that was a lot of fun. Here is me. I used to work as an A&P for FedEx for 5 years. Here's me on top of an MD-10 at LAX doing some work. And then to close it out here, this is one of my favorite places to go. This is on Catalina. This is Catalina Airport. This was a fly-in I went to, and just took a great picture of our tents set up and the sunset and the airplane. Again, a non-G1000 airplane, but also a great airplane. So just want to finish up by saying I wish I had a G1000 aircraft to do the video on, but I hope this was a little bit informative, and I hope you learned something. And like I said, always say, stay safe, fly safe, and I will see you next time. Thank you.